On this edition of The Exchange, Nestlé and Renault tell us why the circular economy is crucial to the future of these mega brands. Welcome to The Exchange. I'm Guy Schoen, bringing you the biggest news and interviews from all around the business world. Now, the term circular economy was first used by the American economist Alan Keyes back in 1988. It's since become one of the most talked about ideas in the business world, bringing together themes like recycling, reducing waste, stimulating innovation, and creating sustainable jobs. Research by the World Economic Forum indicates that the circular economy offers a huge $4.5 trillion economic opportunity. And with circularity also comes efficiency. The consultancy firm Accenture predicts that car makers taking a circular approach to manufacturing could potentially enjoy a boost in profits by 150%. While the International Labour Office estimates that transitioning to a circular economy could create 6 million jobs worldwide as companies get to grips with replacing traditional ways of making money by extracting, making, using and disposing. One famous company wrapped up in this quest for sustainability is Nestlé. The maker of Nespresso, San Pellegrino and Kit Kat is the largest food and beverages company in the world. The 150-year-old firm has over 250,000 employees, hundreds of factories, and sells products in 186 different countries. So how can Nestlé make sure that business conducted on such a colossal scale doesn't damage the planet? Well, let's speak to one of the key people in charge of circularity at Nestlé, Jody Russell. Jody, you've got this grand vision where none of your packaging will harm the planet. How close are you to making that a reality?
In terms of our approach, and you have it right, where our vision is that none of our packaging ends up in landfills or as litter. In terms of reduction, we're looking to reduce our use of virgin plastic, and we're on track to reduce by 1/3 by 2025. We have some really good examples today in the European Union where there's a harmonization exercise that's starting today on labeling and bins, as well as setting shared targets. And these types of examples of legislation give us hope that we can simplify participation for consumers as well as compliance for businesses and focus on what's most important, which is getting the right result and ensuring that no packaging ends up as litter or in landfills.
Thanks, Jody. Well, we'll certainly be keeping an eye on Nestlé to see if they can hit those targets. Another firm at the forefront of making circularity its main business strategy is the French auto giant Renault. The auto industry dumps massive amounts of not only waste, but toxic chemicals and metals into landfills each year. But Renault wants to turn the tide. We sent Cyril Fanares to the firm's refactory plant just outside of Paris to find out how circularity is applied.
Hello, Guy. 11 million cars end their life every year in Europe. But did you know that 85% of the materials used to make cars can be recycled? I'm here in front of what Renault Group is presenting as the first European circular economy site dedicated to mobility. It's a huge project. Let's have a look. Renault launched the refactory project 2 years ago and hopes it will generate 200 million euros in turnover by 2025. Part of the project is this new workshop, able to refurbish 150 old cars a day. From mechanical to paintwork, in less than a week, the cars look new. They're photographed and sold again. In this other building, 200 workers are able to remanufacture over 1,600 different car pieces.
Not only do we produce engine and gearbox with the same quality requirement than the new one by using refurbished parts coming from old engine, but in the same time, it's allowed us by the cost reduction of the value chain to provide our customer with an alternative 30% cheaper than the new one.
To federate an ecosystem around its brand, the group has just launched a startup hub dedicated to the circular economy.
The idea is between Renault and the startup is to share all together. Renault brings some knowledge from industrial and circular economy, and startup bring their agility and the way they want to innovate.
One of the main ways that circularity can be efficiently applied is through design. The The Ellen MacArthur Foundation is a London-based charity committed to promoting and developing the circular economy. Joe Isles is Design Programme Lead at the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. Welcome to the show, Joe. Tell us then, how does thinking about design contribute to the circular economy?
Well, really, everything around us is designed, from the food that we eat to the clothes that we wear, the buildings that we live and work in, and the systems which provide those things, that provide food or energy or mobility or medicine. And when we design, whether we know it or not, we're really making decisions about how those things work. It's not just about treating the symptoms of an economy that's broken or systems that are broken, but about designing by intention so that products and services and systems are circular and regenerative. And what that means is, when we engage in design, what's the first line on the design brief? I believe it should be, does this creation, does this service fit within a circular economy?
Thank you, Joe, for your insights. So, rethinking design then as a tool for change. Now it's time for our regular feature, Business in 60 Seconds. Start the clock. The World Economic Forum's annual meeting takes place in Davos. More than 2,500 world leaders and business executives are gathering to discuss and debate topics under the theme Cooperation in a Fragmented World. It also marks the event's return to being held in January after having been moved to the spring during the pandemic. Schlumberger posts its results for the fourth quarter. The oil drilling giant had a bumper year of earnings in 2022 as equipment sales surged on high oil and gas prices. The firm has cited the Middle East as a region that will drive the next phase of growth over the next few years. And United Airlines releases its fourth quarter earnings. The carrier has been seeing a sharp increase in bookings despite growing risks of an economic recession. US airlines are enjoying the strongest consumer demand in 3 years. The reopening of travel and the strong dollar are encouraging more Americans to travel overseas, especially over the holiday season. 2.5 seconds to go. Not bad at all. The global companies that make our food, clothes and cars have a gigantic responsibility, feeding the world affordably, giving people the products they love, creating new jobs and at the same time solving the climate crisis. It's one of the biggest tests business has ever faced. And at a time when millions fear a lack of food, energy and security, boardroom leaders must surely do more to square the circle. Well, that's all we have time for on this edition of the show. Thanks for watching. Please do check out euronews.com for all your latest business news. And join us again next time on The Exchange.